Hello.
Hi.
All right, so we're going to do episode 3 of season 1, Sweet Home. We did episode 2 together. We did episode 1 by ourselves. I still didn't get my episode 1 out yet. Episode 2 was crazy. I missed a lot. Jesse was just filling me in on the flashbacks. Weird how they're showing flashbacks. Jesse, explain, because she was just explaining it to me.
Pay attention to the colors. It was like a fuzzy, diluted. It looked scrambled almost when they cut back to her. They did it really fast, so I'm not surprised that it was confusing at first.
I
But it
didn't
was
notice.
definitely a flashback. And they also showed her with the suicide I'm talking about, with the guy
Yeah.
who hung himself. They showed the base.
I knew it was weird when it was happening, but I was like, this whole show is just weird. So I don't know if they're intentionally being weird or trying to foreshadow something. Early on, when the first flashback happened in the very beginning in the car with his family, I thought that was the girl younger and she was having a flashback of herself and her family.
Again, it was the way they cut it.
Yeah, like the thing was just weird how the whole thing happened. But then during the episode, I figured out, oh, wait, that's not her family. That was his family, and that's why he feels guilty, and that's why he went to the funeral. Then when she went in the room, I was hanging from the ceiling. Then Jesse said the base was on the ground, everything else. It's bizarre how they're doing it. But now that I see they're doing it like that, I'll be more aware of flashbacks. I feel like I just had to understand how they were doing it. And now that I get it, I'll be more aware of that.
Well, see, now, I don't know if they're trying to do that on purpose.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like, because again, the last scene where he's having his flashbacks of it looked like he was getting bullied and then he took retaliation against his bully. But I could be completely wrong. It was like boom, 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 boom.
Exactly.
So many of the comments of the second one said that they give more flashbacks. Like,
okay.
I think they're doing it quickly and
to kind of throw you,
yeah, to be like, what the fuck, and then
that's my assumption. That's why in the beginning I'm like, you don't do things like that sporadically and that randomly.
Yeah, you just need to know there's past trauma here.
Exactly.
Like, look out for that in the future.
The way I look at it is I've been watching so much TV that if I'm confused, I usually pick things up pretty quick. You guys, if you're watching this, you probably have seen my other reactions. I pick up on things pretty quick and I pride myself on figuring things out. So if I don't pick up on something right away, it's something's intentionally being done that way.
Right. It works with a show like this because it has a good spread of what they're trying. Like, there was one in the beginning, one in the middle, one in the end.
Yeah,
and in between, everything else is so interesting and so you can follow it so well that it's not, you're not bombarded with these ridiculous flashbacks.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's for a reason and it'll all come together.
Someone said it sways from the webtoon. I haven't read past the second issue, but I'm gonna check that out after this and see. Yeah. But they said it sways, so I wonder like how much it's actually swaying away from the webtoon. Because like I said, everything that I saw has been covered basically.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of the webtoon. Jesse looked into it when this came out.
It was good. I liked it. It was good. The Bible guy, where did he get his katana from?
I don't know.
I'm starting to think...
Did they steal it from the stores and stuff, or...
Why would
he did go back... Didn't he go back to his apartment?
It was a grocery store.
Yeah, I don't know. He could have went back to his apartment.
Why does he have a freaking katana, like, on demand? I'm starting to think that maybe, like, the whole scene with him and her in the elevator... It felt like he was trying to defend and justify his religion. Like, I have a Bible. I'm not a prophet or anything. And, you know, like, I'm just religious. Like, it was, now I'm starting to think that whole interaction was very sketchy. Maybe he was covering for having the Bible for some reason.
Like he's an assassin or a
I don't know,
ninja?
but now I feel like maybe he also knows what's like even when they show that he sees the gangster guy drop the tape, you think like, oh, he looks at him because that's strange. Why does he have a bag full of tape? Maybe he knows something though.
It's possible.
Maybe that's why he wanted that weird guy to stay with them.
Wouldn't surprise me. He puts it off like that.
Yeah, like he's very smart, and she's like, "You're not even fazed by this." He's like, "I'm freaking out."
Yeah,
and he's like totally calm.
I thought he was just a really socially awkward dude,
yes.
But it could be that too.
I think he is a very socially awkward dude, but it covers for the fact that he's like I don't know. Maybe he's like, we're over here, like the gangster guy knows.
Yeah.
I think he knows too.
All right, maybe there are multiple
he's
guys.
onto something there.
Because the gangster guy definitely knows something, and the dude he had tied up is definitely a monster or something.
And you think the gangster guy locked them in. You mentioned that.
Yes. I think the gangster guy locked him in the building, and I think the guy they let go is somebody bad. Maybe not a creature or a monster.
No, I think he's definitely a creep, though.
Yeah, like, why would
the way he was laughing, I didn't like how he was laughing when he was answering them. Like, why are you laughing? This isn't funny.
And the fact, put it this way, if the guy's not bad, then the gangster guy is really bad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to believe he's bad. I believe he's on our side, and he might be like a good bad guy. Like one of those guys that's like, it's the greater good, and he might do some shady things, but overall he cares about people.
It's like if I get paid, if I get paid to do it, but I'll do the right thing when it comes down to it.
And so which means that
7,000 messages on his phone. Remember when he opened his phone? Who has 7,000 messages?
Maybe he's like a god. It's like Bruce Almighty when all the people were emailing Jim Carrey at once.
Bing, bing, bing,
he's a god.
I don't know. That was really creepy. I don't know why he had 7,000 messages.
Unless he just hasn't read them in that long.
I don't feel...
Like, think about it. If you didn't answer your phone for a month, you'd probably have 7,000
messages. But they didn't
messages.
say emails. They say messages.
Maybe like text messages?
Yeah, but who has 7,000 text messages? Your phone would blow up. Your phone wouldn't be able to even handle that.
I thought this once. When I look at the phone bill, it tells you send tens of thousands a month.
But you delete them as you
But I'm saying, what if, like, he just gave up on social media? He's like, I'm not reading my friggin' phone. Like, the world is that bad. He, like, stopped. For, like, if you didn't read your phone for, like, 1 week, 2 weeks, you'd have thousands of text messages.
I suppose. It's just very odd.
It is very odd. The guy would have to just, like, block himself from looking at his phone. But if you did it unless, maybe, what if he was, like, he's burned? What if he was asleep in the hospital? He wakes up in the hospital, like, yes,
Walking Dead.
He wakes up in the hospital because he was burned by something, and he knows what's going on, and he just doesn't want to look at his phone because he's afraid of what he might see. But it's like thousands of messages because he woke up from a deep sleep. But I'm trying to like,
so.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of ideas. I don't agree either. I don't agree. I don't agree with my own theory, but it's possible.
I don't think there's enough evidence for him to be a bad guy. I don't think he's bad. I think there's something going on there clearly, but I think he's good.
Yeah, no, I think he is.
He's good. The Bible guy saying to the creepy guy, he's talking about how, like, the guy that they found that committed suicide. Creepy guy says to the Bible guy, yeah, he's been dead for like a week. I didn't catch that at first. And when I was editing, he mentions to, like, very blasé, like, he's been dead.
I vaguely remember that.
And he looks at him and he's like, how do you know that? And then the guy's kind of like, oh, well, it looks that way, doesn't it? And I'm
like he can immediately tell the date of a corpse.
Yeah, like
kind
why?
Of thing.
Yeah, like it's just a weird thing. Like
he knows how a body decays over time.
Yeah, you wouldn't say it like that. You would say this guy looks like he's been dead for a while. Why would you specifically say he's been dead for a week?
Yeah,
it was just really weird, and I didn't catch that at first. And I'm like, now it's even more reinforcement.
See, I haven't edited them yet.
A freaking weirdo.
I haven't edited them yet, so I've only seen it the one time.
That's why I like editing it, watching it one at a time, because it's like you dissect it all, and I understand it better. Watching the snow. Where the fuck did that girl come from?
Which one?
Did you catch that too? When all the neighbors are in the apartment room, and the one guy's like, do you have any sunscreen? Remember that?
Yes.
He's like, do you have any sunscreen? My name's Rio, and do you have any sunscreen? And then this guy, they're all talking, and then the one guy goes, I don't know you. I don't recognize you. Who are you?
Oh, yes.
And she was like, she literally is just like, like, that's all. Like, she's just like, like, she doesn't say anything. And then the lady with the Pomeranian is like, she doesn't talk much. Like, I think she says something like, I've never seen her before either, or she just moved in or doesn't live here. I don't know. But that interaction made me feel weird too, because I'm like, now who the hell is this girl?
I do remember that.
You don't put dialogue like that in if it doesn't mean anything.
All this means something.
Like, exactly. So
that's why I need to edit mine.
Where did she come from?
I do remember that. I feel like during the reaction, I even said, like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, I want to know, like, what the heck that's about.
I
How
also-
did she get in? And
I feel like
why
they've
wouldn't she just say, "Oh, I wandered in because I saw a freaking monster out there"?
because they've already
Like,
proven that sometimes the monsters have intelligence.
Yeah.
Like maybe there are strong ones, fast ones, stupid ones. Maybe there are really intelligent ones that have already like figured out how to blend in.
Or like
and they're
hold
part.
it in,
Yeah,
or
and they're like
calm,
there.
I don't know. Well, you see in the first episode with the tongue guy that attacks, it kind of showed that he was maybe hurting his tongue when he was shaking up and down
Yeah.
so that's why he pulled back, and they just walked away. He let them go.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a zombie, like, I'm gonna keep going for you because I want to
Exactly.
eat you. He was just
There's
like,
some sort
whatever,
of
I'll
some
move on.
sort of thought process.
So yeah, they have the ability to like almost problem solve, I guess,
Yeah.
but lose control like the Hulk in a way. Store guy criticizing everybody for leaving when he's like, we need to protect the building, and then he won't share any of his food.
Yeah.
With assholes.
Well, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
There's two ways they can handle that guy because there are a lot of guys like him in these kind of shows.
You need to use him as a blocker when a monster comes. Throw
that
him.
way, that is one way.
And then run.
Yeah, one way is that he dies. That was one of my ways. He's gonna die horribly like that. Use him as a blocker and like throw him in or something. Or a lot of times in these shows, I feel like they take guys like this and like allow him to change and become like somewhat of
evolve into a
good
do
dude.
The right thing.
Yeah, because he's very funny. Even though a lot of what's funny about him is horrible, it's like he's very funny. I feel like
I'm so disappointed that he's
so he's either gonna
so
die
funny.
horribly or he's gonna do a switcheroo and stop beating his wife. But if he keeps beating his wife and being an asshole, I think he's gonna die. That's it. Like, and he's done too much now. He's been
too much
smacking.
of a scaredy cat. He's like hiding behind things when he was going to stab the guy. I'm like, he's tied up, and
he's like smacked his wife around a lot. And like we didn't even see what he did the last time. He was basically like, "Oh, you want to side with them?" And they left.
And
So like he probably beat the shit out of her again. So that guy cannot stick around.
But the last and final thing was when they figure out it's a curse and they're reading it online, and we never found out the last line of what they said.
Yes.
Remember they were saying the nosebleeds?
Yeah.
And the hallucinations, it's a curse, you might as well kill yourself because you're not going to come out of it. It says, there's something you must know, that is, and then the computer turns off. Okay. There's something you must know, that is, and then that's when they lost internet.
Okay.
So what else is there to know? If it's like, okay, so you have hallucinations, nosebleeds, you go crazy, it's a curse, you just might as well kill yourself because there's no turning back. But then, so what else is there to know? What would be important?
I don't know. What if it was like, you might as well... Yeah, maybe it said like, you might as well kill yourself unless you find this ancient flower up in the hills of the Himalayas or something like that.
So it's like, that would have been useful. So, now, do you think they saw what it was? It seemed like they didn't even see what it was.
I don't think so.
Like, they weren't just not telling us.
No.
It didn't look like they saw it either. They were
it's
like,
possible, but
crap.
I don't think anyone saw it. I think the power went out. End of story. Did the power go out at that exact moment for that reason?
No, it's good that it's interesting you brought that up, because again, rewatching it and seeing all these little conversations that I didn't notice, these little blips, when the firefighter girl's taking food from the convenience store, they're talking about the power outage, and he says, it looks like it's only this building. And she said, like, he's like, I want to go to the breakers and see if I can turn it back on. Yeah. And she goes, it's only this building. She said it in a weird way.
So, like, maybe someone knew they were tapping into the internet.
Right. Like,
I do remember that.
I don't know. There's little things that just don't make sense. Like, why would they be the only building then that doesn't have the power?
Yeah.
And then that guy, like, you think it's the gangster guy tying them in. Like, I assumed it was the military, but... Now that you say that, it brings up a good point, because like I said, when the girl tries to go outside to smoke a cigarette, she can't, and then he's there. The girl that acts like she might be a 16-year-old hooker.
She's creepy. But she's weird too. I think she's all talk, but we should probably jump in.
Okay.
Bye.